Hey guys, we're going to start off the look by applying primer all over the face. I love this BECCA Poreless primer, especially in my T-zone because I especially get more oily in there, and so it keeps it very matte throughout the day. Now I'm going to take an under eye corrector and apply it to all of the areas on my face specifically that gets dark. That's usually under my eyes and around around the border of my face, but you can use this under eye corrector anywhere you have like extra or excessive darkness on your skin. Now with a stippling brush, I'm going to use M.A.C Match Master Foundation in 8.0 and stipple it all over my face, and then I'm going to use these little kind of swirling motions to blend out the color a little bit. Then I take my finger and blend the foundation into my hairline so that you don't have that little mask. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you put on the foundation and you have that mask around the rim of your face. I just use my finger to kind of push that back into the hairline so it's not showing. Now I'm going to use a concealer that's significantly lighter than my skin tone to highlight underneath my eyes, the nose, the chin, and the forehead. And then use a beauty blender to kind of bounce this on the skin, a damp beauty blender to bounce this on the skin to blend out that highlight. You'll notice I'm kind of blending this up towards the temple, and notice that the highlighter shape is going up and angling towards the temple. I did that intentionally to give the appearance that my face is a little bit more lifted, and so this kind of creates a boundary for my eyeshadow. I don't want my eyeshadow, at least the eyeshadow that's going to be on the top lid, to fall below that line and make my eyes appear like it's kind of downturned. So this is a trick I use in order to keep the eyes appearing as though they're much more lifted, and that the face is much more snatched when it really isn't. You'll notice I am kind of always looking over to the corner or laughing out loud. It's because I'm watching this Netflix movie while I'm filming, and it's hilarious. It's a romantic comedy, and yeah, I probably shouldn't watch movies while I'm filming because I keep watching it and my attention and my angle is always off and going in that direction. But I don't know. I thought it was hilarious, and lesson learned now. Now using the fat part of the beauty blender, I am going to blend out the contour color all over the face, the forehead, the chin. The cheeks, and the chin, and then eventually the nose. But this is what I use. This is the technique that I use to blend the highlight and the contour together. First, you start on one angle of the beauty blender and you blend out the contour with the fat part, and then you blend out the highlighted part with the skinny part. You'll notice in this shot right here, I'm blending the highlight, and then I flip the sponge to the contour and blend that, folding on top of the highlight. And doing that over and over again helps to blend those two extreme colors together, getting a perfect cascade of color so you don't know where one ends and the other one begins. You'll see when I look into the camera, you see that there, and that is a blended, that's the blended look. And we're gonna do that all over the face so that those two extreme colors blend seamlessly together. Now to just slightly enhance my cheek contour, I'm going to apply a highlighted concealer underneath it, just a small line, and then I'm going to use the beauty blender to blend out that line and just keeping it a straight line going towards the corner of my mouth. And I'm just going to blend out that line by going over it over and over again. You don't want to blend this down or around. We're just kind of sharpening up that contour line. Naturally, I have very rounded cheeks, and so to give the illusion that my cheeks have a little bit more definition, I do this trick. You don't have to do that. That's me watching the movie. You don't have to do this, but sometimes I like to give, again, that enhance that snatched effect. Now I am just going over the highlighted line, but then I'm going to flip my sponge in order to gently apply that contour, that cheek contour on top of the line a little bit, just to blend that out and soften out the look. Now I'm going to go ahead and contour underneath the eye with a concealer brush. And this technique I just use to make my eyes appear a little bit larger, but it also helps to kind of set back the puffiness underneath the eye and give the illusion that it's very flat underneath the eye. So by contouring underneath with a small brush, the same size brush that I'm using for my nose contour, we'll just, I honestly just do this with every look. I love the way that it looks. I love the way that it makes the my under eyes appear flatter than they naturally are when the makeup and the whole look is done. So I put contour underneath there, and then I contour alongside the nose and squeeze my beauty blender and blend that nose contour, not moving it, but just blending it to soften the lines. Now with an even brighter concealer, I'm going to apply this just on the inner corner of the eye and use the skinny part, the pointed part of the beauty blender to blend this out. And this is just for a little bit more brightening. I'm not going to take this all over and go into my temple. I'm just going to use this right there on the inner corner of my eye, right between my nose and inner corner of the eye for brightening. Now I'm going to set all of that with my favorite powder, Ben Nye Luxury Banana Powder, and I'm going to put this powder all over the highlighted areas. So that's underneath my eyes, the forehead, down the center of the nose, above my lip, and on my chin. Oh, I forgot to mention that I also like to brighten my eyelids by applying this powder on them, and that just kind of sets it and prepares the eyelids for a shadow later. Now with this red-based brow pencil, I'm going to fill in my brows. Now this brow pencil does not match my brow hair color at all. It's actually very much lighter than my brow hair, and actually after I fill it in, you can still see you know, where it's missing, but I like to use this brow pencil first. It has a very red undertone, which I personally in my skin have a very red undertone, and what it does is it just helps to fill in the background behind the brow, so that it gives the fullness without a lot of color. But then I go in with a secondary pencil, which is spiked by M.A.C, and it's a very cool brown, so this helps to fill in those sparse areas of the hair. And I also outline the bottom of my brow with this pencil, and this pencil you can actually mimics the appearance of the of hair on my skin, but I like a very soft looking brow, so that's why I use both of the colors. And then I use a spoolie to just blend out the colors along my brow before and then I'll go in and see if there's any sparse areas with the darker pencil to fill in the brow. and the darker pencil has more of a cooler undertone, so on my skin it would show up, opposed to that redder undertone pencil, which on my skin tone, given my warm undertone, will not show up. It's not going to necessarily be as bright, but it's just a soft base for the brow before using kind of the darker pencil, which creates a precision effect. And now I'm going to use this foundation underneath my brow as my brow highlight instead of an eyeshadow. Now I'm going to use an eyeshadow base that is, the color is Skin Tone, and I'm going to place this in the center of the lid and then blend it out towards the outer corner and inner corner of the eye, and then eventually blend it up into the socket of the eye all the way up to meet that brow highlight. Now with a fluffy dome-shaped brush, I'm going to use a color that is a very orangey eyeshadow color, and I'm going to blend this into the top of my eyelid. I'm really focusing on blending this color from my nose contour up through the head of my brow and through the socket. This will kind of make the eye appear very open and very wide-eyed. The shape that we're creating with this eyeshadow will make my eye appear very open and very wide-eyed, so that when I apply the other colors, which are all going to be very neutral, that it will still make my eye appear that it's opening and taking advantage of the whole area of the eye. Now I'm going to also move into another color, which is a deeper orange, close to a red orange, and apply that on top of ABLAZE. And then with a smaller shaped dome brush, I'm going to apply a color called Heat in the socket of the eye, going closer to the actual eye fold of the eye. Now on the lid, I'm going to take a regular eyeshadow brush and an eyeshadow that is very close to my skin tone, a matte color called Universal. And I'm going to apply this all over the eyelid, but I'm also going to go up in the inner corner of the eye. I'm going to go very high with the eyeshadow and then bring it down on the lower lid. This gives the appearance that the eye is much larger than it naturally is. It makes my eyes appear much more open and bigger than it naturally is. So it's kind of like my makeup eye instead of the natural eye. Moving on to an angle brush, I'm going to pick up a black matte eyeshadow, and I'm going to actually create an angle on my eye, so that when my eye is open, it gives kind of that slanted, that snatched look. So it makes my eye appear like it's kind of snatched up. You know that look when your eye is snatched into a ponytail and the outer corners of your eye are kind of lifted? This little illusion with the black eyeshadow gives that same illusion. So I'm creating a little bit of a wing. This is not even a little bit of a wing. That's a wing for sure. But that's a wing on the outer corner of the eye with black eyeshadow. And then going back to that small dome brush, I'm going to pick up a cool toned brown eyeshadow and pop that into just the outer corner of the socket, just to deepen that outer corner out. Now, after wiping off the remains of the highlighted, that banana powder, I'm going to now set my entire face with the powder that actually matches my skin tone, and that is MAC's Mineral Skin Finish in Dark Deep. So I'm going to place this all over my face. I like to use a puff because I'm oily. I have oily skin. Now with the Beauty Blender, I'm going to apply some liquid highlighter straight to a damp Beauty Blender and apply this directly to the face. I find that applying this liquid highlighter underneath my powder highlighter just really amps up the whole game. It just makes the powder highlighter, gives it something to grab to, but also illuminates the face a whole much further. So I apply this all over the parts of the face where I want it kind of highlighted. meaning the cheeks and the chin. I don't really do my nose because because I'm naturally oily skin. I have naturally oily skin. So, you know, in a couple hours, my nose starts getting all juicy. That highlighter on my nose will actually enhance the appearance of oiliness, and it'll just look like my face is a oil slick. So I tend to avoid highlighting anything on my nose, but I do highlight the cheek area and along the side of the face and keep it very high above the contour color. And then I highlight my chin. I kind of over highlighted, so I'm taking my finger just to dust off just a little bit, because it's not supposed to be a beaming highlighted look. I just want my skin to be accentuated when the light hits it. Now with a gel liner and a synthetic brush, I'm going to follow that line that I created originally with the black matte eyeshadow, that angled line, and outline that, and that is going to be the base for my winged liner. This is a really kind of foolproof way to create a winged liner and you're not sure how to do it, or maybe struggle with having a steady hand. I feel you, girl. I am the same way. But basically, I outline the triangle and then fill in the triangle with the gel eyeliner, and then I'm gonna go in and connect from the inner corner to that wing. But first, I want to create the wing and make sure that it's smooth and the exact shape and width that I want it to be. And then go in and create a very thin line along the inner corner to the outer corner of my eye. To do this with the synthetic brush, I'm making short strokes, just connecting each line to each other. I don't want to make one long continuous line because I'm just not that good with keeping my hand straight and making sure the line is straight. But when I do these small little dashes, it really helps to ensure that I have a very thin, natural looking eyeline. And I'm creating a thin eyeliner with this look because the lashes that I'm going to apply them so that they look very natural. So I'm going to actually apply them underneath my natural eyelashes. I love doing this because when I look down, you can't see the band of the lash, but the lashes are very accentuated, and it makes the lashes, to me, look very natural. After they've set for a little bit with the glue and they're not completely dry, I take some tweezers and squeeze the false lash and the real lash together. Now here's the trick with doing this underneath the eye. You don't want to apply mascara before putting on these false lashes on your natural eyelashes. That's what I do when I'm putting them on top, but because I'm putting them on the bottom, essentially the glue is sticking to my natural eyelashes. And so if there's mascara on it, it's going to, it's very likely that it's going to pull out some of my lashes when I take them off later tonight. So I don't put any lashes or any mascara or anything on before applying the false lashes like this. Now with a very tight bullet brush, I'm going to apply a warm eyeshadow, a warm red colored eyeshadow underneath the eye, just to accentuate the eye, the under eye just a little bit, and just kind of make it look a little bit, my eyes look a little bigger, and then the under eye area under my eye to look much flatter. Now I'm going to go ahead and bronze the skin. Now bronzing the skin with my deeper skin tone is not the easiest thing to do because there's not a lot of bronzers that go darker than my skin tone. So, but this bronzer is actually a very red, coppery blush color, and I'm using it as a bronzer because it also has light reflecting properties, so it has shimmer to it. And I apply this all over my cheek, on top of my cheek, and then on my forehead, just to warm up the skin. And I do this probably about 1 to 3 times. I really love this color. I really love this color on my skin tone. It's not deeper than my skin tone, but it just kind of softens out my face and warms up the face. And I think it's really beautiful, but it's very hard to make it kind of show up. So I do a couple of layers, very light layers, probably about 3, and then I'm going to spray my face later with some setting spray, and then go in with another layer of bronzer. But before that, we're going to do mascara all over the top and bottom lashes. Now I'm going to spray all over the face. Actually, that's just half of the face. And then I pat it dry and apply another layer of bronzer while the finishing spray is actually drying. I apply a very, very light layer. And this is, again, just to give something for that bronzer to kind of grab to. And you'll notice now how it's kind of starting to show up on the skin. And now I'm going to also do the other side of my face, not when the setting spray is entirely wet, but just as it's drying. Now I'm going to apply this lip stain all over the lips, and it's a True Red by Giorgio Armani. It's a Lip Maestro number 400, and I'm going to line the lips with this this lip color. For me, this is kind of it's a true red, and so for me, I like a bright red on with my skin tone, so I kind of tend to fill in the center of my lip with an orange-based lipstick. And so that orange kind of ombres into the lip. So it still gives the appearance that it's a red lipstick, but yeah, it's orange mixed with red. Then that original color wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be, so I went over it with this liquid lipstick by KYLIE Cosmetics, which is a very bright orange, and then just blended it into the red before everything dried. And then here I am with another layer of bronzer, y'all. I really wish there was like a bronzer that was much more prominent on my skin, but I do love this color. However, you kind of got to work with it. And that's the look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed.